In a fast food kitchen, a fire suddenly popped up at the deep frying station. Two workers initially just stood by, unsure how to respond, before one poured water onto the flames. This caused the fire to intensify violently, creating a large flame cloud and filling the area with smoke. This incident highlights the extreme hazards of grease fires in commercial kitchens. Water should never be used on oil-based fires, as it can cause explosive flare-ups. Proper fire extinguishers rated for grease must be accessible. Staff must be trained in emergency response, and immediate evacuation protocols should be in place to prevent severe burns and smoke inhalation. In an industrial laundromat, a worker noticed a rolling dryer machine shaking unusually and stepped closer to inspect it. Without warning, the machine suddenly expelled laundry with violent force, repeatedly striking the worker and knocking him unconscious. What had appeared to be a minor vibration issue instantly escalated into a dangerous mechanical discharge incident. This incident highlights the hazards of approaching malfunctioning industrial equipment while it is still operating. Machines showing abnormal movement should be shut down and isolated before inspection. Proper maintenance, secure door mechanisms, and strict lockout procedures are essential to prevent sudden ejections and impact injuries. In a vault manufacturing facility, several workers were rigging a heavy vault to an overhead crane when the still unsecured vault suddenly tipped over. The massive structure fell onto a worker's leg, crushing it before the load could be stabilized. Coworkers immediately rushed in to lift the vault and prevent further injury. This incident highlights the extreme dangers of handling heavy, unstable loads before they are fully secured. Proper rigging, load balancing, and temporary supports must be in place before detaching stabilizers or shifting weight. Workers should keep clear of potential tip zones, and coordinated communication during lifting operations is essential to prevent crushing injuries. In a warehouse loading area, a worker standing on top of a truck's cargo bed attempted to remove a tensioned load strap when he pulled too hard and suddenly lost his grip. The force caused him to lose his balance and fall hard to the ground below. What had been a routine unloading task instantly became a serious fall from height incident. This incident highlights the dangers of releasing tension straps while positioned on elevated surfaces. Workers should remove load restraints from stable ground whenever possible, release tension gradually, and ensure proper footing before pulling. Fall prevention measures and safe unloading procedures are essential to preventing severe injuries during cargo operations. In an elevator, a delivery worker carrying a large bundle of hydrogen-filled balloons stepped inside with two other passengers when the balloons suddenly ignited and exploded within the confined space. The blast forced the occupants to immediately flee the elevator. Fortunately, the doors were not closed yet. This incident highlights the extreme hazards of transporting flammable gases in enclosed public areas. Hydrogen is highly combustible and can ignite from minimal sparks or static electricity. Flammable materials should be handled and transported with strict safety precautions, and confined spaces must be kept free of ignition risks to prevent fires and explosive injuries. In a metal parts facility, a worker demonstrating a new CNC machine to a group of coworkers experienced a sudden mechanical failure when its front panel burst open and expelled metal fragments outward. The employees gathered in front of the unit immediately ran for cover as debris scattered across the area. This incident highlights the dangers of standing directly in front of operating machinery, especially during initial testing or demonstrations. Equipment should be fully inspected, tested behind protective barriers, and operated with guarding securely in place. Maintaining safe distances and using appropriate eye and face protection are essential to preventing injuries from unexpected mechanical failures. In an aluminum plant, a hydraulic line suddenly burst and sprayed high-pressure fluid into the air, which quickly ignited from the heat of the machinery. The ignition created a violent fire that engulfed the work area in seconds. Two workers on site immediately began evacuating, with one nearly delaying his escape after turning back for his phone. This incident highlights the extreme dangers of high-pressure hydraulic systems operating near heat sources. Hydraulic lines must be regularly inspected for wear, and shielding should be in place to contain potential spray. Emergency evacuation protocols should always take priority over personal belongings, as seconds can determine survival during rapidly spreading industrial fires. In an industrial bakery, A worker cleaning a mixer was hooked and rapidly spun by it. A coworker intentionally turned on the machine while the worker was still cleaning the mixer, causing the rotating mechanism to catch him and spin him violently until another worker rushed in and shut it off. What had been a routine cleaning procedure instantly became a severe machinery entanglement incident. This incident highlights the extreme dangers of energized equipment during maintenance. Only authorized personnel should have control over machine activation. Proper supervision, clear communication, and strict safety protocols are essential to preventing catastrophic injuries in industrial food production environments. In a pharmaceutical plant, 2 workers were cleaning hydrogen storage pipes when one of the lines suddenly ruptured at the top, releasing an explosive plasma blast. One worker positioned directly over the pipe was caught in it, causing his bits to rain down on the whole floor. This incident highlights the extreme dangers of working with high-pressure hydrogen systems. Hydrogen is highly flammable and can ignite or detonate with devastating force if containment fails. Storage lines must be depressurized, isolated, and thoroughly tested before maintenance begins. Strict lockout procedures and remote inspection methods are essential to preventing fatal blast incidents in high-risk industrial environments. Outside a junk shop, a new worker attempting to cut a metal frame with a hand grinder suddenly lost control of the tool, ricocheting and sliding across his abdomen. He had been holding the hand grinder awkwardly with minimal support and a loose grip, suggesting inexperience with the equipment. This incident highlights the dangers of improper grinder use and inadequate training. Hand grinders must be held firmly with 2 hands, fitted with guards, and operated with proper body positioning to prevent kickback. Adequate training, personal protective equipment, and supervision are essential to preventing severe lacerations and preventable workplace injuries. In a drainage renovation project, a worker cutting open a pipe assumed the line was free of gas when the heat from his tool suddenly ignited residual flammable vapors inside. The resulting explosion blasted the pipe from the ground, destroying it completely, though fortunately no one was injured. What had been a routine pipe cutting task instantly became a dangerous fire and explosion incident. This incident highlights the extreme risks of performing hot work on pipelines without proper verification. Lines must be thoroughly depressurized, purged, and gas tested before cutting begins. Hot work permits, fire watches, and appropriate protective equipment are essential safeguards to prevent explosions and serious burn injuries during infrastructure repairs. At a flyover construction site, an overhead crane suddenly failed while lifting a large section of the flyover foundation. The massive concrete segment dropped to the ground, and the attached cables snapped free, tangling and lifting several workers into the air. This incident highlights the extreme dangers of crane and rigging failures. Lifting equipment must be inspected regularly. Loads must remain within rated capacities, and workers should never stand within the fall zone or near tensioned cables. Establishing exclusion zones and enforcing strict hoisting protocols are essential to prevent severe injuries from falling loads and whipping rigging lines.